So the three types of advertorials. This will be a quick run over over each type, and then in the next lessons we're going to go to much more detail in each advertorial. So you might have heard the saying, "The best ads don't feel like ads," and as you possibly read before in the previous section, is that advertorials shouldn't feel like they're ads. They should feel like they're a mix. Like they should feel like a sponsored article, which is like a mix of an advertorial and an editorial. No, sorry, an ad and an editorial. So make it seem like it's an article you would find on any news site, on any like forum, and that's the best way to convert to make your editorials profitable. Don't make them too aggressive. Don't make them look like a sales page. Make them look like an online article people like naturally read every day already. So for them, it will be just another article, but this time it's actually going to sell something to them. So there are three types of advertorials. The story-based one, where you share a story, usually from the target customer's perspective, how they felt the pain, and then how they discovered the product, and then how they relieved their pain or solved their problem. Informational, which is um, usually educates, but it doesn't give like the basic mainstream advice. It often maybe breaks the common beliefs of something the customer might have thought they not know, but actually it's way different. Maybe they thought the pain is caused by something else, while it's actually this. Um, and yeah, and then you introduce the product later on. Once you've explained the actual truth of your problem, you explain the product, and it all just makes sense of, okay, if this is the actual problem, the actual cause of my problem, so this, now I understand why the solutions I've tried haven't worked, and now this is the product that should work. And the value-based advertorials are mostly like listicles or any other advertorials that provide value. On the internet, you would see articles like recipes for foods, 8 tips to fix your posture, 4 exercises to relieve foot pain, and that's the vibe, that's the style you're going for. So a story-based advertorial. I'll show an example straight away. So as I said, you write it from the first person perspective of your target customer, of how they lived with the problem, how it affected their everyday life, their work, their relationships, their family life, their hobbies, how they felt in the mornings, how they felt during the day, what changed in their lives. Use metaphors and analogies to describe what they're feeling, and basically it will make the reader, if they're suffering from the same problem or dealing with the same problem, they will think, oh, okay, finally there's someone like me, and they'll be more intrigued to keep reading on to see what happened next, and then eventually you'll introduce the solution that helped. So this is the structure. Usually it might change based on the editorial, but this is like the most basic one. The lead of the story of how horrible the situation was. I'll show an example side by side. So here you can see, my dentist told me that there's no way to remove plaque and tartar from home, but then I discovered an alternative solution that gave me a confident smile and saved me thousands. So yeah, here's the basic lead. And here he tells the story of, I can barely smile naturally, take pictures, or play with my grandkids without feeling self-conscious. I miss the days, blah, blah, blah. That's not even the worst part. What pains me most is that I feel like a burden to my family. Basically, tells the story of how bad it was and how it made them feel, how it affected their life. Now, solutions that have failed. Here I was trying all sorts of mouthwashes, toothbrushes, and toothpastes. Here you can basically describe everything you tried, why it failed, why you hated it, and basically make the reader relate. So they think, okay, I've tried the same, I've done the same, and I've gotten no result as well. And then you can, yeah, this is different, but you can go uh, write the fear, the worst case scenario, and write a whole section about like maybe he was afraid that he's gonna like lose his teeth completely and have to eat like oatmeal for the rest of his life. That's a dramatic way and over exaggeration, but you get the point. For example, if they have foot pain or some like some deeper issue, they're afraid that they're gonna go into a wheelchair and basically kind of scare a little bit the reader of what can actually happen if you keep ignoring your problem and keep trying to find a solution. Like if you keep trying solutions that don't work and you're basically wasting your money, your time, and your problem is like a ticking time bomb. And then they discover the product. So either they saw an ad, a friend. This is usually uh, the most common approach when you're writing for a Facebook audience, because also just like them, they probably clicked on that ad and so now they're reading the editorial. So either they clicked on the ad, or a friend saw them in pain, or saw them dealing with the problem and recommended the product, or they consulted or found an expert or a doctor. So that's what happens here. That's when I met Dr. Lauren Gans, blah, blah, blah. And then, for example, if you chose the ad or the friend, you would usually, uh, for example, if you click the ad, then on the website you would read some news that would break your common beliefs and change the way you think about your problem. And it's similar to the friend. The friend would actually share what a friend would say that he dealt with the same problem himself, and then he would actually like share what he discovered, the actual truth, the shocking truth, and then you would introduce the product, because it would make sense after what you shared. So here, the doctor is showing the uncomfortable truth, the shocking truth. So your unhealthy mouth can be linked to systemic disorders such as heart attack. Then you can add some quotes, some studies. You basically explain the problem, the problem, and yeah, something also many editorials do is they say that the most like common alternative can actually make your situation worse. Like painkillers can actually make your situation worse. Doing exercises like or stretching that area can make it worse, or brushing and flossing can make it worse. And then you basically explain why, and then finally they introduce the one way to solve the problem they have. Then they would describe it. If you chose the ad, then you would basically describe how the person read on the brand's website how this product actually can help and how it works. And with the friend, you would just share what the friend shared, how the friend told that this product can help, and then basically explain how. But that's why for example, for more complicated health problems, you would just use the expert doctor to have more credibility and trust. And yeah, you explain what the actual solution can be, and then how there's a product for that. Maybe the expert, the doctor, partnered up with some company and then created the actual solution. And then you would explain how the solution actually works, how the product works. Here you explain how the mechanism, how the method works, and here you introduce the product that actually uses that mechanism. Then you would describe the product. And here, this is also optional. You could say he was still skeptical and he wasn't sure if it would actually help, but like then he saw a bunch of positive reviews, a money back guarantee, and then he placed the order. So the next, their experience after using the product, and here it is. It's not an overstatement to say the plaque blaster has saved my life. Then he would basically described how it felt after relieving the problem, how easy it was to use, the before and after, how it improved his everyday life. So yeah, here you could put usually the first call to action. For example, here you could put, if you're dealing with the same problem, I highly recommend this. The last time I checked, they had a 50% discount on their website. Um, but they had a low stock warning. So click the button to check if it's still available. Just like a small subtle button to make people click who are already pretty much sold and ready to buy. Uh, place a button so they can click, so you don't actually lose maybe the sale down below. I know it has a button here and here, but sometimes when they're focusing on and reading the tutorial, they might automatically ignore these banners. And yeah, you basically you can go into, after the first button, you can even either describe in more detail how the product works, or you can here's what makes it so brilliant. Basically go into more, double down on the product and why it's so good, why it works, how it works, other cool features, other benefits. And yeah, now you have social proof, and here you can say thousands are able to remove plaque from home, or you can say thousands of people already own this. It's rated 4.7 stars out of 5 on average from 1,000 plus reviews. And you can add other things like customer reviews, Facebook comments. Even this one has video testimonials. You can include a seen on banner. Yeah, and here you can see they put the first button, first call to action here. Click through now and see if the discounts are still available. So pretty much similar to what I said. So click through and see if the product is still available. And for this one, it ends here with frequently asked questions and the conclusion. But you can actually include another section reminding of how great they felt after using the product, how their life changed, go into details, how it was before, how it is now. And then you would put, these are optional, it depends on your product. And then after that, you can put a final close to say stop dealing with this problem. There's a solution you can try now. It's 100% risk-free. Give it a try now. So yeah, that's a story-based tutorial for you. Usually these work the best with huge, long, acute problems that people have trouble with solving them for years. This can also work for regular products, for devices. Usually this is the format used for health products and products that solve long issues that the person has been dealing with for years. So moving on, informational advertorial. So yeah, here you educate. You can either, most common approach is to break a common belief. Like here, your toothbrush out of all things could be making you sick. And here you write a regular lead. You can also tie a story into this. Then just straight away you explain the common belief breaker, what's the actual truth, and what you've been taught is wrong, and here's the actual truth. And now, since you know the actual truth, you know how to approach your problem the best way. And this is the product. So what is it? Describes the product. Then it's optional. You can describe what's wrong with alternatives, and then you can say this product is much better than these alternatives because it does this and that. And then you can include how the product works. Is it easy to use? what else I love about the product, and you can also add who needs it the most, what type of people, what type of problems does it solve specifically. Then you can include social proof, like a seen on banner, reviews, how many customers, and yeah, and then you put the first call to action. Here you can see there's special savings for readers. And here, also, again, optional, you can put, say it's not available on Amazon and eBay. And then you can put more social proof, and then the final call to action. This usually works the best for like gadgets, technology, or like everyday tools, maybe some kitchen items like this. That like they didn't, basically the person didn't know they needed this product, and now they're reading an editorial on it. So yeah, that's pretty simple. That's the informational editorial. Next we have a volume-based editorial. In these ones, usually you go for creating listicles. You provide value and basically make the reader think that by clicking on your editorial, they'll learn something new today. And you basically give them value and then tie it back to your product. For example, here, 4 most common signs your dog is suffering from joint pain. You would list the signs and then you would say, here's the solution. You would also explain why the problem happens, and how the solution can help, because you've gotten an audience of people who are concerned about the dog having joint pain. So now you can later on introduce the solution. And it's similar here with a listicle, but takes a different approach. It offers 8 ingredients to eliminate their joint pain for good. So basically, if they really wanted to, they could go to the market, buy all 8 ingredients, mix them all up and give them to the dog, but no one wants to do that. So here's 8-in-1 dog chews that you can give your dog every day, and it will solve their joint pain. So here you have the lead. Also here you can explain why the problem happens. Like dogs have this wolf instinct, where they will hide their suffering, their pain, because otherwise they will be seen as weak, and weak wolves are getting left behind by their pack. And dogs have this instinct of survival, and they don't want to show you their pain. So there's no way you can know their pain, and once you start noticing obvious signs, it's already too late. So here are the 4 signs you should look out for now. Then you provide the value, and then the solution, the next step after identifying your dog's joint pain. Here you give the 8 ingredients and the next step, how to get the best results. And you also mentioned that each ingredient needs to be processed the right way, otherwise it will lose their nutritious value. Then you introduce the product, describe it, and you have your first call to action. The same here, describe the product and the first call to action. This is more like a subtle call to action to put for everyone who's already sold or curious. Then you go into more detail describing how it works. And you basically explain the root cause of the problem, and then you tie it back to the product, how it tackles the root cause and how it can help. Then you can include social proof, life after using the product, or deeper benefits of, like, you will get your dog back, he will run again with a smile on his face, and you won't feel like you've lost your best friend. Then you can include guarantees, where to buy, a call to action. And yeah, then again, optional, you can have the product is not available on Amazon, there's low stock, more social proof, and then the final call to action. Obviously, these all can be tweaked a little bit, but this is the main skeleton of value-based advertorial. So yeah, here you have it, the three types of advertorials, and in the next lesson, we'll go into more detail in each one.